calls from my mom, but my mom isn't calling me. By u/fan fiction music lover. These events happened between 2019, 2020, and 2021. My family and I use Facebook Messenger to talk to each other whenever we can't be in the same area of the house or town. But because I like headphones and I put on music very loudly, I don't hear my parents calling me, and in the past, we had neighbors complaining about us yelling too loudly. So, my parents started calling me either on Facebook Messenger or on my regular phone. In 2019, I was living at my aunt's house going to college when I got 2 regular phone calls with months in between from my mom. The first one I had just managed to get away from a potentially dangerous situation, and I was walking quickly to my bus, and my phone rang, only to hear static that caused me a headache and then hung up. Once I was safely away from when I was potentially in danger, I called my mom back, asking her why she called me. My mom then told me that she was thinking of calling me, but hadn't called me. Then I told her what happened, and she just told me to be thankful for that call and just focus on moving forward with my life. The second time this happened in 2019, I was cooking dinner at home, and I got a call. And since my aunt's landline was damaged, then sometimes calls wouldn't go through or receive said calls. We had agreed that if they call me and leave it ringing for 3 rings, means they have been trying to call me on the landline and to call them. So, this happens. My mom calls me and lets it ring 3 times. I get to the landline and call home only to be told by my dad my mom had been talking to my Uncle Thomas on her cell phone for the past hour. I was so confused, and later in the night, I talked with my mom and asked her if she called me at 8 p.m., but she hadn't. Then 2020 comes, we are in quarantine and I was in my room and I was healing from a TBI. So I wasn't allowed on my phone and I was working on relearning how to write when my phone rang and I peeked to see that it was my mom. Thinking that my mom might have needed toilet paper because I heard her going to the bathroom. So, carefully I walked to the storage room, grabbed 3 rolls of toilet paper, and carefully again went to the bathroom and asked her what she wanted. Confused, Mom said she was thinking of calling me because she ran out of toilet paper, which I instantly handed it to her. Mom joked about our mother-daughter bond. A few months later again in 2020, I'm fully healed from my TBI and I'm cleaning the house, vacuuming, when I feel my phone vibrating and I look to see my mom calling me. And I put the vacuum aside thinking because it was close to 3 p.m., which is my country's mandatory quiet time up to 6 p.m. She was trying to tell me to give up trying to finish the house before 3 p.m. Or maybe she just wanted something. So I look around the house and ask my sister, only to find my mom putting out the laundry, and I had seen her phone on the radio in the kitchen while looking for my mom. And once again, she never called me. And now, we are reaching 2021. I'm in my room doing some chores and I hear my computer and phone chime with a Facebook Messenger video call, and I look to see that my mom is calling me. I got up and went to look for my mom, only to be told by my dad that Mom was out with her friend for coffee. So I called her and asked her, and she told me she had no Wi-Fi to call me on Facebook. Another time, I'm again in my room, and again, Mom called me on my regular phone, and I ran with my phone to my mom in the bathroom and showed her my device, and she showed me hers. She wasn't calling me. I picked up and put it on speaker, only to hear this wheezing sound you hear when two microphones are close together, and it hurt our ears. And then Mom had a nosebleed. She gets semi-frequent nosebleeds, but there was no prior indication, such as a headache or her sneezing like it normally is. It was during Easter, and Mom and I were playing cards in the kitchen with our phones next to us, when my phone vibrates again, with a phone call from my mom again. Confused, I try to pick it up, but my phone is stuck, and then it shuts down, and it's really hot. The last time this happened was when I was in my room, and I'm getting another call from my mom. And annoyed, I get up to go to my mom and ask her what she wants, and confused told me that she hadn't called me again. I don't know what is happening to my phone, but this only happens with my mom's phone number and mine, and only on my phone and not my mom's. Does anybody have any ideas on how this is possible to happen so many times? Photos there one moment and gone the next. By u/darkangel10848. I was doing some fall cleaning and came across a cache of old photos and took a moment to reminisce. They were of me and an old friend when we were in our young teens. I remember the trip, but I only partially remembered what's going on in half of the photos. After 10 minutes of reminiscing, I gathered all the photo albums in packets and put them in a shelf in my kitchen to decide where to rehire them permanently later. I then went back to cleaning. There were 3 photo albums, a large photo in a fold-over cardboard holder, and 2 packets from 1 hour development of photos from almost 15 years ago. I finished cleaning and my boyfriend comes over, and I remember those pictures, and I wanted to show him what I looked like as a teenager. When I go to the shelf, I find the photo albums, the cardboard holder with the large photos, and a different 1 hour packet with completely different photos. I went nuts and cleaned everything off of the shelves and went back and checked where I found the pictures to begin with. I have been unable to locate those original pictures. There are completely different pictures in a similar packet now of a completely different time in my life. And I have been looking for almost 2 weeks now, and still have been unable to locate that original packet of pictures. Seriously, who knows? My coworker and I experienced the glitch at the same time. By u/KNDen. Last weekend, my coworker and I were setting up for a big event. We were setting up a photo booth area with a green screen. I was reading the labels and connecting the poles for the green screen stand. There were 2 middle poles that connected and 2 outside poles that connect to either side of the middle poles. The 2 middle poles connected no problem, but when it came to connecting the outside poles, we both ran into the same problem. The ends didn't match. I tried to connect the pole to side A, but it didn't fit, so I flipped the pole and then tried to connect side B with no luck. I watched my coworker attempt the same thing, trying one side, then the other, with the same exact results. I told her to check the bag for more poles while I held on the pole and the middle pole. There were no more in the bag, so I try again with almost 100% confidence that it wasn't going to work. But that's when the end of my pole slides and clicks into place. I watch my coworker do the same thing. Just a few seconds before, the poles did not match and the ends had looked completely different. But suddenly, they matched perfectly. I looked at my coworker and she looked at me and said, "That just happened, right?" I was seriously shaken after that. I think if I had been alone, I would have shaken it off as not paying attention, but the fact that my coworker and I saw it happen at the same time freaked me out a bit. Luckily, I haven't experienced any more glitches since, and my coworker, on the other hand, said that she had a few more weird experiences since then. Swiss Army Knife Teleported by U/Pandawa008. I have a Swiss Army knife that I got for a birthday, and I always make it a point to keep it with me because you never know when you might need it. I always carry it in my bag, and I always carry my bag when I'm going somewhere. One time, my girlfriend and I were going to her hometown. We met up with some friends and went drinking outside. It was in a park in front of a theater, a place where most people our age hang out usually. We brought some drinks with us, some beers, ciders, and many more. A friend asked if anyone had a bottle opener, so I pulled out my Swiss Army knife and opened the bottle. I remember we all commented on how practical it is to have it, but no one bothers to carry it. I've placed my knife in some steps, as I was expecting to open more bottles soon. But it started raining heavily pretty quickly, and we took our stuff and took shelter. When the rain subsided, we decided to go home. When my girlfriend and I arrived, I noticed that I didn't pack the knife and I remembered that I left it on the steps. It was pretty late and we decided that we will look for it tomorrow early morning. When we got back to the park the next day, well, the knife was gone. We searched around for it, but nothing. I had to accept that I've lost the knife and we started packing for our trip back home. While we were driving back at some point, I started seeing how it's a shame that I've lost the knife. I find it very dear, and even though I could easily get another knife, I kind of got attached to this one. We were about to enter our house and we made another couple of comments about the knife. We unpacked and all, and I was taking out some documents to put in top of my drawer where I usually keep this stuff. And as I opened the drawer, there it was. The red Swiss Army knife was placed right in the middle of the drawer. I was shocked. I quickly called out to my girlfriend and we couldn't believe it. It was my knife. After the amazement subsided, we started coming up with theories as to how it could have happened. One idea was that I never even brought the knife and that the beers were open in some other way. But we knew that wasn't true. Also, I never keep it in any drawer. Ultimately, we didn't come up with a good answer. I've come to accept the whole thing as very positive. Someone or something obviously cared enough about me to make sure that I got reunited with my knife. That is the story of the teleporting knife, and I'm not looking for answers, but I'd be curious to know what your experiences are with this. Thrift Shop Book Section Never Existed by U/Pandawa008. Rusknaff. This happened a couple days ago, and still kind of weirded out by this. So I go to a local thrift store at least once a week or so to look for new reading material, and getting a good deal on them is always a plus since I read so much. I've gone to this specific store for around a year or so, and while they never had a great selection, I picked up around 7 books in total. I went there a few days ago to peruse, and to my disappointment, the book section was gone completely and replaced by a clothing section. I was sad, of course, since this location is a stone's throw away, but I get that paper books aren't as popular anymore and probably don't turn a huge profit with low volume. There was an associate nearby stocking the shelves, and I asked them about the books. Their response? We've never had a book section at this location. I thought that was an odd response since I know I purchased books there before, but I didn't recognize the worker, so I thought they might just be new. After that, I found a few items that I liked and went to the register. While I was checking out, I asked the cashier about the book section, and I got basically the same response. I don't remember having a book section here. You must be thinking of somewhere else. I then asked how long they worked there, and they've been working there for 3 years. I have gone there in the past year and know that I bought books there, so logically, I was flabbergasted. I brushed it then, checked out, and left. And after this, I checked on Google for that store, and none of the customer pictures have a book section in them. Pictures from a thrift store itself show the outside and the main entrance. The books were usually kept in the far corner, and from what I can tell from their pixelated pictures, it does not seem like the taller bookshelves were there, but I'm not 100% sure on it. I don't keep any receipts for small stuff like this, but I still have the books. And I specifically remember being in that store, buying those books, which is why I'm still confused about it. What the fuck happened to me? By you/Hey, just a writer. Okay, so it's around 2 a.m. and I wake up with a disgusting bitterness in my mouth, almost as if I was going to throw up. I ran to the toilet, but I didn't throw up. Instead, I felt a strange lump between my left cheek and my lower teeth. I tried to figure out what it was with my tongue, and I was immediately hit with another wave of bitterness coming from it. So I hastily stuck my fingers in there and took it out, and it was very like a disintegrated pill, but it was green like a dark toothpaste. My thoughts are, perhaps I could have been sleepwalking and drank a pill, but I was asleep so I didn't drink it. Instead, I just pushed it in the corner of my mouth where it disintegrated. But we have no green pills in the house, and all medication is stored away where it's hard to reach in my mom's room. She would have woken up if I entered the room because there are very noisy floorboards. And the last time that I sleepwalked was 13 years ago. My second thought is it could have been a bad toothpaste. But why would toothpaste taste that bad? I did not brush my teeth that night either. The one absurd thought that I had is that, you know that flash that MIB uses when they need a person to forget what they had seen? Yeah, not impossible, right? The only green things that I had to eat that day before was salad and a cup of cream soda. Honestly, I am baffled, but it was still stuck in a tissue this morning and has the exact same texture as a disintegrated pill. When I hold the piece up to the light, it also seems to have crystallized. Does anybody have any thoughts about this? Weird happening. Me and 4 dogs heard my girlfriend pull up in her car, shut the front door, and enter the house, but she didn't come home from work for another hour. By U/Overall Resolve 4490. I've been diving into high strangeness since I was little, but last year I read John Keel's Eighth Tower and my whole perspective changed. For the past 3 months or so, I've been pretty absorbed by all things strange. In the past, I was more focused on UFOs, alt history, consciousness, and I've never been one to look into hauntings. But after reading Keel, I've started watching videos of stories and browsing relevant subreddits. It's become an interest of mine, but I will say that I have no desire to experience any ghost or poltergeist activity. So, last night, I was working outside on the patio while my girlfriend was at work. I had one of her dogs, a Pyrenees, outside with me, and her other dog was inside with my 2. It was about 7 p.m. when I heard her pull up and lock the car. The dogs inside started doing what they normally do when she comes home, and one of my dogs came to the patio door, wagging her tail and telling me to come inside to say hi. Since I was working, I couldn't leave right then. I was going to wait for her on the patio. I heard the front door open and shut, normal front door closing sound, where the whole house shakes a little. My dog ran back towards the front door to greet my girlfriend, but then ran back to the patio door in the kitchen and was excitedly whining. And soon after, my dog, who was inside, and the Pyrenees, who was outside, started looking towards the laundry room attached to the kitchen. The lights were off in the kitchen and laundry room, so I turned them on with my phone. Nothing in the kitchen or laundry room. No cats, dogs, or girlfriend. Still, the Pyrenees stood and stared towards the same spot for at least 30 seconds. While all of this is happening, I'm kind of annoyed. She didn't tell me she'd be home early, even though I was just texting with her. And I was in the middle of work and hadn't tidied up before she got back. So my heart rate and BP was elevated because of surprise and stress. Once I realized that she didn't come home, I was scared that someone else had gone in the house, because I heard the freaking door shut and my house shook. The dogs heard it all too, but after I checked my security logs, it was clear none of the doors had been opened and no one else was at my house. I tried to tell my girlfriend about it, but it scared her and she forced me to explain it away. I said, maybe it was a subwoofer in someone's car that shook the house. But I am 100% positive that's not what it was. It's also worth noting that my driveway isn't near any others, and no one lives in the house closest to mine. I have zero reasonable explanation for this, and honestly, I almost forgot about it, but figured that I'd go ahead and write it down. Anyone else have a similar story, or anyone else experience something after spending a lot of time looking into strangeness? Multiplying underwear and a Walmart trip that never happened, by u/Scott and Shady Side. I went to visit some friends who lived about 3 hours away last weekend. I realized as I was last-minute packing that I had no clean underwear. I arrived Friday night, and my buddy and I ran to Walmart early Saturday morning. I got a 3-pack of undies, milk, and cinnamon toast crunch. I went through the self-checkout lines, enjoyed the cereal, wore the underwear all weekend. End of story, right? That was until Tuesday, when I grabbed my weekend bag to unpack and do laundry. I pulled out the used undies, but dug deeper and found brand new, still rolled up and taped. Another pair, and another pair, and another pair? Well, that's impossible because I only got one 3-pack of undies. Where are these coming from? I was stumped, so I messaged my buddy and asked if he could find the packaging or receipt in his trash. He also remembers me getting a 3-pack because we got a laugh when I flipped the pack and asked him if I'm still an XL or if my pandemic weight put me in a higher size bracket. Then I thought, let me look at my account and see if I accidentally grabbed a bigger pack, which I'm already sure that I didn't. The price of the cereal and milk is pretty predictable, so let's see what the total was. I looked at my account and there's nothing from Walmart. I'm like, huh? So it's been well over a week now and still no back record of the underwear, cereal, and milk purchase, and I'm still baffled at the multiplying underwear. But I'm not complaining about it either. Hello everyone, it's your creepy sister here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate each and every one of you. But I would also like to thank my amazing patrons, my top tippers, and my dearest channel members. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it with all of my heart. If you want to support the channel further, you could also choose to become a patron, a tipper, or a channel member. But remember, it's appreciated, but never a requirement. I would also like to announce that we have merch now. The link is in the description of the video, along with all my other social media links, like my Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, and others. You can connect with me and send your stories there. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and comments are highly appreciated. And remember, your fear feeds me.